Well, everybody, this never seems to end whenever I give my opinions about this one particular topic and provide evidence and my findings on this particular topic and present it in an educational video. I still get a ton of hate and it never ceases to end. But today I want to bring this topic back up because there are some things that have happened in current events, as well as just I have a more dialed in and detailed opinion about this matter. Enough teasing this topic. What are we going to be talking about? Again, we're going to be talking about digital versus tube, and it just never ceases to end. I give my opinion, I get hate. It just always comes. And it is just an ongoing thing on this channel. Give you guys some backstory, catch you up to speed real quick. I was 100% on board with tube amplifiers for years and years on this channel. Fast forward a couple years, I started performing and touring all over the world, and tube amplifiers no longer really a necessity for me. I love tube amps, but they just don't really serve a purpose anymore. So I went all in on digital, all my original music, all my riffs, all my YouTube shorts, all my Instagram reels, my TikToks, all my collabs with different artists, as well as all of my touring endeavors have all been 100% digital. And specifically, I've been using 99% of the time Neural DSP products. And now, whether or not people agree or disagree with me is quite irrelevant. Like, I think how I think, and I encourage everybody to think how they think. That's totally fine. Like, that's the joy of being like your own person and having your own opinions. And that's how like you learn and have a different perspective, not only with, nerdy guitar content, but also too, just life in general. It's a very cult-like mentality if like you only associate with people that think like you. To me, that's not what life's about. So sure, I guess it's cool when people agree with me, but also too, it's really cool when people disagree with me down below in the comment section. However, there is a small percentage of people, but a loud small percentage of people that truly like love to hate me and love to just, I don't project something onto me because I'm saying that like digital is the new way. And, it's quite interesting. And before I bring up some comments, the reason why I want to bring up the whole debate here is for a number of reasons. One, it's interesting for myself. I'm always keeping, my ear out for like what is the new hot piece of gear, not only for myself as a professional, but also too, like what is a hot item for people to click on and watch, right? Like YouTube has become my second job. It was my primary job. Now it's, again, my number two. It's kind of like a hobby again because I'm traveling so much anymore. But also too, at the same time, I love making content and I love delivering, entertaining and educating you guys. But also too, it's kind of a caveat. But another reason why I'm really interested in this topic is because a lot of you guys look to me, as well as all of my peers, about like what should you potentially buy for your next guitar endeavor. And a lot of times I feel as though I have a responsibility to you guys to give you guys my opinions, because so many of you guys have come up to the merch table, after a show and be like, dude, I watched your video and I bought insert piece of gear here because of your opinion. And I'm so thankful that you did, because if I hadn't found you, I wouldn't have made that decision. I'm so thankful that I listened to you. Like, that's amazing, man. That is something that I've truly never anticipated experiencing when doing YouTube stuff, but like it's happened quite a lot and I'm so thankful. I mean, the most prominent example of that is the whole baritone guitar thing. When I went all in on baritones and made myself predominantly a baritone guitar player, so many guys and girls have come up to the merch table after, like I said, like, dude, like I want one of your signatures, or like I bought, this baritone because of you, etc. So, just giving you guys some context, but those are the reasons why I'm really heavily invested in this whole analog versus tube debate, because one, it's engaging, and two, a lot of you guys look to me for, my opinions, and you guys take my opinions into consideration when purchasing something. So I've compiled a bunch of comments. Let's get into them, and I want to get to this one right here, right now. This one's not necessarily a hate comment, and this one is actually quite articulate and is a great talking point. So I want to bring this up to you guys right here, okay? Guitar Horizon ESP. May I ask one question, sir? Tell me why big studios do not sell their boutique amps, making tons of money and having a free room, more to rent it and make even more money. Why do they not just buy a modeler and hit record? So in recording studios where tone actually is number one priority, they prefer tube amps. You cannot deny that there's a big difference in tone in tube amps, and it will always be big recording studios making those record tones. Now, just a quick little Google search, I found a news article here, The Record Plants Redundancy, How the Music Industry Moved On from Recording Studios. So this article is talking about how the music industry is no longer, relying on the big legendary recording studios, because people can just do things in smaller studios or in the confines of their home. I mean, an artist like Billie Eilish and her brother, I do believe it was, like, they made her hit record. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I'm not the biggest, Billie Eilish fan, but the story goes like they made a legendary, groundbreaking record in like their home, in their bedroom, right? So that was just like one of many instances where, artists can create something without having to go to like Sunset Sound or Abbey Road or Electric Ladyland, etc. Here's another article here. Is a recording studio finally going to disappear? The traditional recording studio might very well be a dinosaur that finally needs to die. The traditional studio was not designed with a focus on fostering creativity, but rather to achieve something that was technically difficult to do at the time, but times have changed. That's huge right there, man. The traditional idea of a studio was to, be able to like have a place where you could record your equipment. It wasn't so easy to do at home. Like, it was hard to do back in the day. Now it's quite easy, man. You can do it like in a dorm room. You can do it in a bathroom. I'm sure somebody's done that, right? Like, you can record something in a very small space and it doesn't cost nearly as much money as it used to, as well as like, it's not that technically hard. Like, you just need a little interface, an amp sim and a cable and you're good to go. And I guess, obviously a computer, right? Or a phone, like everybody's got one of those, right? Bringing it back to this comment right here, like, recording studios are making tons of money and this and that. Sure, I'm sure there are still some out there that are making quote unquote tons of money, but that is, in my opinion, and basing my opinion off of, evidence, that seems to be a dying platform, which again is kind of why I'm always pushing like the digital thing, because the digital amp modelers and plugins, for example, are on the rise and weeding out what came before. So that is a great talking point, and I just really appreciate that comment. Furthermore, with this one particular comment, talking about hit records and stuff like that. Well, let's take the #1 album on Billboard right now, or relatively recently, and that is Sleep Token's new album, Even in Arcadia. Did a quick little Google search on what Four's guitar tones were, or what he uses just in general, whether live or studio. Live, they utilize a Rev G4 modeling amp. So I did a quick search, Rev G4, I think that's the red pedal, right? And a Mesa cap captured on a quad cortex floor processor. They also use Kemper Profiler or quad cortex to simulate amp tones and effects. There is not one mention of like a boutique high gain tube amplifier with the biggest current, up and coming metal act in the world. So again, I really appreciate that comment, but I don't really know of too many bands using boutique high gain amplifiers in a studio or live. I'm sure there are out there. I'm just not the most knowledgeable of them. But using like the most relevant up and coming band right now, they're using digital stuff. So that is interesting. Now let's get to some fun stuff. Sure, if you cannot afford a good tube amp and a good stack with good speakers, get the cheap amp mod like everyone else and sound like everyone else. Go right ahead. I'll never get one because they're crap. It's not even real, bro. Have you even played out of a real stack? How can you even say these things? Where is your video standing in front of some kick-ass Marshall, Mesa Boogie, or PV, or Engel? You obviously don't know what you're talking about when I say the feeling. Are you even feeling the music? Probably not playing out of an amp modular. Just wish people would do a little bit of research before hating on me. Proselyting, I don't even know what that word is. Very hard for modelers. Wouldn't be surprised if you're a shill. Seriously, I'll get Jehovah's Witnesses vibes from you. Very creepy indeed. Throw up emoji. These are great, dude. These are so entertaining. You're dead to me. That's just right to the point. Appreciate you there. He's full of shit. We all say that when we want to get a model, then we play a tube amp again and get rid of the modeler. This one's an old one. Haven't gotten the tour bus yet either. Be honest, bro. Bigger acts have tons of tube amps. You're just not there yet financially. Never say never. I've already addressed this one in a previous video. I did a tour bus tour already last year. You can hear the difference with a hand-wired tube amp light years beyond solid state. Besides, what this guy is playing sounds like crap. Well, you're totally entitled to your opinion about what my music sounds like. That's great, but I would love to have any sort of blind tone taste test between like a hand wired tube amp and a solid state or a quad cortex or a Kemper or anything. Nobody's been able to do that. Nobody's been able to prove that on the internet yet, and this debate has been going on for years. Let the beta boys have their computer programs while they play in their bedrooms in mom's basement. We men crank out tube amps and entertain music lovers with the beautiful, rich, powerful, saturated tubes with a cabinet with the balls to move some air. God bless Jim Marshall. Yeah, I've already. Another clickbait video from a guy who jerks off to other YouTubers' comments because he has nothing musical to offer to the conversation. Shocker. Go back to ROTC, Jarhead, because insight is something that will always avoid you. Okay. My latest release with 7 Day Slumper has like over 6 figures in terms of streams just on Spotify alone. So it's just funny, man. Like, you know, people just like, I just wish you would just get better at hate comments, but I guess it's easier to go off of emotion and just be ignorant rather than like form an opinion or an educated opinion or an educated hate comment. So anyway, man, just, yeah, I find it fascinating. This debate is continuously going on and on and on, but, you know, sticking with current events and, you know, the best or the most popular metal band, for better or for worse, you can like them or not like them, like they're crushing it. Sleep Token's crushing it right now. They're sticking with digital stuff, and they have the #1 album on Billboard. So, you know, if bigger acts than Sleep Token are using them, sure, but like they are the #1 album right now. Like you can't get past #1. So they are the biggest right now in current time. So it just kind of disproves the argument there. So the last thing I'll say with this video, if you guys have any sort of, you know, second guessing about tube versus digital, if you want like the cool, like truly, I believe this, the cool half stack, like just it looks cool, go with that. Like if money's not an issue, if space is an issue, if you're not traveling with it, go with a tube half stack. I love tube amplifiers. I love half stacks. I love full stacks. They're so sick. Not denying that at all. However, if you want something that is like continuously like being updated in terms of firmware, if you have, you know, if you want to have just all the options in a little footprint, if you want to travel with it, if you want to record with it, if you want to get your favorite artists' like tones from like a cloud or something like that, go with a modeler. It doesn't have to be Quad Cortex, could be Kemper, Axe Effects, Head Rush, Fender, Tone, what's that called? Tone Master Pro, Tone Pro, something like that. Yeah, go with that. That's just my opinion, man. So that's it for the video, everybody. Just wanted to once again talk about this debate because current events is kind of just favoring digital anymore. So that being said, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, do all the things I ask. And with that being said, see you guys in the video very, very soon. Later.